doing it. I'm doing an anime video on my channel. What has happened to me? I've got my cup of ginger ale and honey jack. It's gonna help me get through this as I sip it intermittently. Okay, all right, I'm ready. I've never done a dedicated anime video on my channel before. It's not a topic that's been entirely absent from my channel. We have discussed it on certain streams before, so it's not a topic that I will shy away from. I happen to enjoy quite a lot of anime and manga, and One Piece happens to be my favorite. So I will throw my metaphorical straw hat in the ring for this very contentious topic that has cropped up as of late. For those who aren't in the know, the trailer for Netflix's live action One Piece series released this past Sunday, and it's been getting a lot of mixed reactions. Obviously, there's a lot of hype surrounding the series. It's an adaptation of the single best-selling comic of all time. It is something that has been in the works for a while. Last I checked, the trailer has 6.5 million views and is still on YouTube's trending despite being out for 3 days. So a lot of people have been making videos about this. There's been some very positive reactions and some negative reactions, and then there's a lot of reactions that are somewhere in between. So I will go ahead and say that I am right there in the between category. I think it looks fine. And granted, this is coming from someone who has tried to keep very low expectations. As I understand it, this is supposed to be an 8-episode long series that will cover the East Blue saga, I imagine, which is the first 100 chapters of the manga, or the first 60 episodes of the anime, give or take. Obviously, given that schedule, I would expect the writers to take a few creative liberties, and it certainly seems that way based off of the trailer. Early One Piece in the original source material is a very lighthearted, mostly happy-go-lucky sort of show. It has not yet built up the massive world and cast of characters that it now has and is known for, and that I love it for. The live action seems to be going for a slightly, ever so slightly more serious tone. There's a shift in the type of humor, the type of dialogue, and these are all things that I would expect for a live action adaptation of a cartoon, of a comic. It still seems like it's trying to be a very faithful adaptation, though. I think it's doing a good job based off of what little I have seen to be a very faithful adaptation. I think based off of the trailer, there are certain aspects and visuals that have translated to live action very well. A lot of the environments that I have seen look really good. This was something that I was very excited to see what the live action was going to look like. A lot of these live action environments, and I mean, based off of what we've seen, Barati looks really good, I think. Shelltown looks phenomenal. These are some very early story environments, but I think they look great. I really like the look of the crew. We got that shot of the sea beast arising out of the water from very early on in the series, like the first chapter or two. And even the stretching, something that is notoriously difficult to do in live action, even that doesn't look too bad, in my opinion. I think it looks surprisingly acceptable, adequate. So I think visually it doesn't look terrible. A lot of what we saw in the trailer actually looks decent. That's not what my problem with the show is. I don't have a problem with much of what was shown in the trailer. My problem with the show is more so based on the principles of live action adaptation. Granted, I saw a video on this once. I can't remember the YouTuber or animator. I don't even remember if it was a YouTube video. but the animator was a talking sentient TV with a tuxedo for a body. That was his avatar. And it was an excellent video, and I'm very sorry that I can't remember his name, but he made some very excellent points on this topic. Despite Netflix's track record, I personally don't dislike the idea of live action adaptations. They have been done before and can turn out really well. You look at The Mask, Hellboy. We just came off a massive string of superhero movies, excellent superhero movies with Marvel's MCU. Those can all technically be considered live action adaptations. And I think there are a lot of positives for the One Piece show prior to this trailer coming out. I mean, the writer is a massive fan of the material. The cast looks really good. I really like what they've done with it. Oda has reportedly been very heavily involved with the making of this show, and now that the trailer is out, it shows that a lot seems to have translated over very well visually. The problem is more that animation as a medium follows a very different set of principles than live action. It allows for a lot more freedom in the types of stories, characters, and environments that you can write and create. I.e., there are certain things that are easy to do in animation that may be very difficult, even next to impossible to achieve with live action. Especially with things that may be particularly far-fetched or fantastic. Doesn't matter the amount of technology or money you throw at it, these are still things that can be very difficult to achieve. Now, if you look at One Piece in particular, even for an anime, this is a particularly, let's say whimsical. Yeah, whimsical is a good word. This is a very whimsical series, okay? The environments are fantastic. The powers of the characters are super bizarre, and the characters themselves are often drawn as caricatures. I mean, you have some of the more normal-looking characters, well, normal in quotes, but there are certain characters that are just really out there design-wise. And those are the elements that I'm worried about, the more fantastical, whimsical elements. And I think the trailer has proven my fears to an extent. These are the things that I was really worried about leading up to this trailer, and I'm still worried about, because you look at someone, for example, you look at someone like Buggy the Clown, a popular, beloved comic relief character in the series. He's supposed to be more of like a goofy than menacing character. Like I said, he's more of a comic relief. And then you look at him in the live action adaptation, and holy shit, he's kind of horrifying looking. He's kind of creepy. Now we only got like 2 seconds of him, but still, like this is kind of a horrifying, to me. This is kind of a creepy adaptation. And in my opinion, much of what we saw in the trailer was fairly mild and less fantastic. And so we didn't really get to see how some of these more whimsical elements will be adapted. We got some sneak peeks, like the stretching and Buggy, for instance. And those look okay, but I'm a little worried about some of the stuff that they didn't show that I would expect to appear within this first season, or that might appear later on down the line. I don't know. That said, I do genuinely hope the show is good, because, like I said, it is one of my favorites. And the hype has been building for this show for quite a while. And so for the sake of the many, I hope that this show is good. And to be honest, the trailer, despite my concerns prior to it dropping and even after it dropping, it still hyped me up a lot. I'm still very excited for this show to come out. I'm eager to watch it and to see how they've done. So I will definitely be watching it. But I will be shocked if it gets more than 2 seasons. That's about the long and the short of it.